and I can actually explain you a little bit how. This presentation is about how to align typography the right way. I'm just gonna explain you how to align typography the perfect way, the awesome way. So let's go with the alignment. What is alignment in graphic design? Choosing to align text in justify, center, or ragged columns is fundamental in the typographic act. It's really interesting that you need to know how to do this the right way in graphic design so you can actually succeed, have really nice, awesome designs. Believe me, this is gonna be reflected in your day-to-day designs. What you're gonna learn is that each mode of alignment carries formal qualities, cultural association, and aesthetics risks. What I mean by that is just like you can have some little risk when you're working your alignments. Let's start with the first one, center. When you work center text, the most important thing about this whole presentation right here, this whole screen that I have right now, is simply just to remember that you need to have a short, long set of text. This could be backwards. What I mean is it could start long, but it should be always having that short, long, or long, short style of text. Otherwise, you're gonna end it up with the most common mistake, poorly shaped text blocks that are gonna look like a square and then gonna be completely unreadable. So please don't do that. Let's go with the next one, which will be justified text. How do we just justify text? People ask me, Leo, how do I can apply justified text? Justified text is clean, it's neat, it's one of my favorite ways to align text. And one thing that I like to do, I don't know if you have seen it in my projects, I like to create like a grid and figure out how to align the text, the justified text like this. I think it creates this type of 3D style of that it separates it. I don't know, I think it looks really cool. But going back to the design itself, to work the way justified text and not having the biggest common mistake would be actually having these holes in the text. You can fix that stuff. The way that you can fix it is, imagine that I have this set of text right now and I work it in the paragraph as a justified text and I ended up having those holes at the bottom right here, right? There are two ways that you can fix that. Number one, making the typography bigger. That would help because you're gonna have less space in between the characters, or simply changing the kerning. How do you change the kerning in the typography? You will ask me now. To change the kerning in the typography, you simply select the type, you go to character, and here you can change it going up and down. So you can actually make more and less space in between the words, and that's gonna help you tremendously. Believe me, this is gonna be a game changer for you. So now that you know how to work justified text, you can actually apply it in any of your designs. Okay, the next step will be now, let's check out the next one, which would be the flush left, ragged right. This is the most common one, the one that I like to use the most. The most important information that you need to take from this one is when you work your flush left text, important this, remember this. Look at me, I'm telling you, please remember this. Shape of the paragraph should be similar to the one that I showed you before of the center paragraph. What I mean is a long short structure, so you don't punish the reader just trying to make him guess what lines comes first, because they're gonna start jumping lines and stuff like that, and you don't want that in your design. You want it to look really awesome. Another thing that you can have is a bad rag. What is a bad rag? That it looks like a triangle, like this example that I have right here. If your paragraph looks like that, that's not good. Let's go with the final one, which is the flush right, ragged left text. With this one, what I would say is like really unusual. When it's something like this, you have problems that you need to take in consideration. For example, the common number one mistake that you can have with this one is simply the pronunciation. It's the edge of excessive punctuation weakens the right edge. For example, if you have commas, if you have periods, if you have parentheses, this type of arrangement of the text, you're gonna have a really bad time because it's not gonna look right and it's gonna look really awful. So to keep in mind, when you work your flush right text, it's commonly used in the margins just to actually add some extra information in the page. But the problem that you're gonna have with a bad page is simply what I said. You shouldn't have too many punctuation symbols in the paragraph because this hurts the final design and it's gonna be more unreadable. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you feel like you learned something new, just give it a like. That will help me a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.